The knock comes at 6 in the morning. 2 agents on the step, breath fogging in the cold. They already know your name. They know the car in the driveway and the plate on it. They know the apartment you moved out of last spring. They know the number you called on Tuesday and the pharmacy you walked into on Thursday. They did not follow you to learn any of this. Nobody sat in a parked sedan across the street. A machine did the work, and it did it weeks ago. And this morning it handed an agent a folder before he ever put on his boots. At the top of that folder sat a single number, a score. How sure the system was that you would be standing behind this door when they knocked. You never agreed to any of it. You were never told it existed. This is the file with your name on it, and today you are going to meet the machine that wrote it. For more than 10 years, one company stood behind American law enforcement without most people ever hearing the name. Palantir, based in Denver, co-founded by the billionaire Peter Thiel, and named after a seeing stone from a fantasy novel, an orb that lets you watch anything, anywhere. Somebody in that room thought total vision was a clever joke. It is not a joke anymore. In 2025, Immigration and Customs Enforcement paid Palantir $30 million to build something new. They called it ImmigrationOS, an operating system for deportation. The prototype was due on the 25th of September, 2025. The contract runs through September 2027. On paper, it was described as modernization, a tidy upgrade to the paperwork ICE already kept. That word modernization is doing a lot of hiding, because ImmigrationOS does not just store your file. It ranks you. Inside the system, there is a value the documents call an address confidence score. It is exactly what it sounds like. A probability, attached to a human being, that you are at a given address right now, tonight, this hour. The platform tracks people who leave the country on their own, in near real time. It folds immigration records, travel history, and the live feed from license plate cameras into one screen, so a single agent can look at your entire paper life and your last known location in the same glance. The paperwork became a targeting system, and almost nobody noticed the moment it happened. Then there is the second tool. This one is called Elite. Elite reaches into Medicaid, the health records of roughly 80 million people, and into tax files, and into social security data. It reads all of it and builds dossiers. It produces what the agency calls leads. It tells an officer who might be deportable, and it hands back a confidence score for where that person sleeps at night. Think about what that means. The form you filled out at a clinic, the one you believed a law kept sealed, quietly turned into a signal that points a van at your street. None of this was supposed to be possible, and that part matters more than any single tool. For decades, the American government kept its databases apart on purpose. Your tax file did not talk to your benefits file. Your medical record did not talk to the border. That separation was not a technical accident or an oversight waiting to be fixed. It was the entire bargain. You hand over your most private information for one narrow reason: to get healthcare, to pay what you owe, to claim what you earned, and in exchange it stays in that lane. It does not follow you. It does not get repurposed. That promise was the price the government paid for your cooperation. Over the past year, that price stopped being paid. Teams moved through the agencies, breaking the walls between the silos and tax records, social security numbers. And benefits enrollment began flowing into the same Palantir pipe that feeds enforcement. Health and benefits data that most Americans assume is walled off got quietly rerouted. The bargain was cancelled. No hearing, no form to sign, no letter in the mail telling you the deal had changed. You are still holding up your end. Nobody is holding up theirs. And often they do not even need a warrant, because they do not need to break into anything. A great deal of what feeds the machine, they simply buy. ICE purchases location data on the open market. Real-time movement lifted from ordinary apps on ordinary phones, sold by commercial brokers who will never tell you that your little blue dot is for sale. The weather app you check every morning. The game your kid plays in the back seat. The coupon app you opened once for a discount. Each one is a small informant, reporting your position for a fraction of a cent. You are not being watched exactly. You are being purchased, in pieces, all day long. Here is where the story stops being about immigrants at all. In April 2026, the American Immigration Council published a report and put the warning right in the title: Mission Creep. AI surveillance at the Department of Homeland Security, they wrote, had crossed a dangerous line into tracking Americans. The same tools built for one group, facial recognition, biometric scans, social media monitoring, location tracking, are now aimed at citizens. Reporters and former Homeland Security officials described the machine being turned on people who did nothing but show up and protest an ICE operation. In at least one case, the profiling was used to strip a US citizen of travel privileges after that person criticized the government. Read that again slowly. A system sold as a filter for one kind of person works, without any modification at all, on you. By early 2026, some members of Congress had figured out what was happening and started writing letters. Representatives Goldman, Wyden, and Velasquez demanded a full accounting of every database DHS was feeding into the system. It also surfaced that Stephen Miller, the man most responsible for the administration's immigration policy, reportedly held a financial stake in Palantir itself. Through all of it, Palantir's answer never changed. We only build the tools, they said. We do not choose the targets. But that answer is a magic trick, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. When a machine decides who earns a lead and who gets a confidence score, the people who designed that machine wrote the rules for who gets hunted. The architecture is the policy. Saying you only built the maze does not make you innocent of where it sends people. You might be telling yourself that none of this reaches you. You are a citizen. You paid your taxes. You have nothing to hide. That was always the wrong question, and it was designed to be the wrong question because it puts the burden on you and lets the machine off the hook. The real question was never whether you did anything. It is who gets to decide, quietly, in a server you will never see, that you are worth a folder. And it is what happens on the day the criteria change. A database built to find one kind of person is just a database. Aim it somewhere else, and it finds a different kind of person just as fast and just as cheaply. The infrastructure does not care about the reason. It was never built to care. It cares only about the data, and you have been very generous with your data. So what do you actually do, standing here knowing all this? You cannot delete ImmigrationOS. You cannot subpoena the machine. But you can starve it, thread by thread, and every thread you cut is one it does not get for free. Start with the phone in your pocket, because that is the cheapest data they buy. Go into your settings and turn off your advertising identifier, the little serial number that lets brokers stitch your day together. Kill location permission for every app that has no honest reason to know where you are, which turns out to be almost all of them. A flashlight does not need your coordinates. A game does not need your coordinates. Switch to a browser that does not run its business by selling you. If you live somewhere with a data broker deletion law, use it. California's Delete Act lets residents pull themselves out of broker databases through a single request. And more states are writing their own versions of it right now. File the request, then set a reminder and file it again next year, because the brokers refill their files the way a tide comes back in. And if you ever stand on a public sidewalk to record an enforcement action, treat your phone as what it is, the most reliable witness the government has against you. Park your car away from the cameras, because the plate reader will place you there long after you have gone home. Leave the personal phone behind and carry something clean. The license plate camera and the app in your pocket are the two things most likely to drop a pin on a map that says you are here. Most of all, stop believing the walls are still standing. The medical form, the benefits, application, the loyalty card at the register, the plate on your bumper. Each one is a single thread, and somewhere a machine is quietly pulling them together into a picture of a person it has decided to call you. You will never cut every thread. That is not the goal. The goal is to stop handing them over for nothing, to make the machine work for each one, because a machine that has to work is a machine that misses. The file already exists. It has your name on it, and it is not going away. The only part still under your control is how much of it you keep writing for them. One careless tap at a time. Stay off grid.